On early morning of June 22nd, news outlets started reporting that New York rapper Lil Tjay was in an altercation where firearms were used. Now, with the entire world confused on why people would target Lil Tjay, he later released it in a song titled Beat the Odds, where he revealed what truly happened on that night, where he was placed into critical condition. The police have also gathered an alarming amount of evidence, as it was announced it's all been pieced together on what truly happened. Now, these evidence files were leaked online. As in the leak, they showcase photos of a man named Muhammad K, the main suspect in this incident, also being involved in a few of A Bogie with the Hoodie's music videos. Now, it was reported that Muhammad has ties with A Bogie. He's also a close member in street teams within Highbridge. And speaking of Highbridge, the music label, around the time of the incident, another member in Highbridge that A Bogie is signed to stated on Instagram, and I quote, "Word to my mother, I'm not saving anyone no more. Next time we see Buddy, he's getting stripped out of everything. Respectively, I'm telling you now." Now, he is referring to snatching Lil Tjay's chains, which actually was the main goal in this situation. The Lil Tjay and A Bogie beef have been going on ever since Tjay's quick rise to fame. Now, with both artists having a very similar sound, meanwhile being from different camps in New York, it sparked a huge issue with A Bogie. As in February of 2020, A Bogie tweeted, "Light bet, keep on trying to sound like me without showing love, and I'ma start to sue ya. For real, this is getting out of hand. I'm not trying to knock nobody's hustle. I'm just getting sick of the craft you're bringing to the table, making this boring." Now, Lil Tjay would then tweet his reply to A Bogie by saying, "People be mad when it's the next person's time to shine. Move out of the way and watch me win." Now, it wasn't long after that till a short clip was released to the internet. In one of Lil Tjay's first ever interviews recorded on camera, you could see a young Lil Tjay sitting in a stairwell at an apartment building. He was asked this question: "People out here saying you're an A Bogie clone. What do you gotta say about that?" As Lil Tjay replies, "Me personally, I don't try to copy anything. There will always be rumors made, but I ain't a clone." Now, the A Bogie and Lil Tjay beef has gone on for many years, and it almost seems as if members in Highbridge, where A Bogie is linked to, wanted to end it. As the feds reported on this situation, highlighted something concerning about Lil Tjay. Now, on early morning of June 22nd, news outlets were starting to report that New York rapper Lil Tjay was in an altercation where firearms were used. There is two different stories being released on what happened, but here's what really happened to Lil Tjay. According to reports in Edgewater area of New Jersey, Lil Tjay alongside his two best friends Jeffrey Valdez and Antoine Boyd were ran up on in a Chipotle parking lot. As Lil Tjay and his two friends were sitting inside of their vehicle on their cell phones, suspect Muhammad K, age 27, was seen via surveillance footage driving up to the location in a white BMW with several other people. Muhammad K was then seen stepping out of the BMW holding a firearm near his waistband. He then creeps up to Lil Tjay's window of the vehicle and then grabs his firearm and demands Lil Tjay to pull out his diamond-studded Rolex off his wrist, as well as to take his diamond chains from off of his neck. Allegedly, a small altercation then broke out between them, yelling at each other until Muhammad uses his firearm towards Lil Tjay, once again demanding to give up the jewelry Tjay was wearing. Some of Lil Tjay's boys in the back seat were then seen pulling a firearm from out back and using it towards Muhammad, defending Lil Tjay. Now, with Muhammad being on Lil Tjay's side of the vehicle beside his window, he took the majority of the damage from Muhammad. Lil Tjay's friend was also affected during the situation, but not nearly as bad, as the third person Lil Tjay was with is the one that brought out his firearm and started retaliating against Muhammad, defending his two boys, especially because Lil Tjay was clearly seen in a very bad condition. Muhammad was then seen falling to the ground as he was trying to run away. Allegedly, one of Tjay's boys connected a few while Muhammad was trying to run. Falling into the bushes, the driver of the white BMW then hopped out of the vehicle, grabs Muhammad, and drags him through dirt and bushes until they can get to their white BMW getaway vehicle. At the scene, Muhammad's shoes were left inside of bushes, as well as his pants and sweater that he was wearing covered in dirt and mulch. Witnesses that were around the scene that heard the firearms being used were seen ducking behind vehicles until it was done. They then came out when the coast was clear and saw Lil Tjay in a very bad state and were able to call an ambulance right away. While waiting for the ambulance, Valdez and Boyd were trying to calm down Lil Tjay, and thankfully the paramedics arrived to the scene and were able to help out Tjay and get him to the hospital even in serious critical condition. The paramedics and doctors did an amazing job and upgraded Lil Tjay from critical to stable condition. However, here's where the story even gets more interesting. As Lil Tjay is being rushed to the same hospital as Muhammad, in New York, there are city cameras everywhere. You really cannot commit a crime like this without being caught these days. Now, as mentioned earlier, Muhammad was affected by Tjay's boy while he was trying to run away. In the process of running, his shoes fell off and he fell into the mulch that was near the curb in the bushes. And due to Muhammad being affected by a firearm, the driver of the white BMW dropped him off at the local hospital. At the hospital, it's very strict policy that if any patient comes in where he's affected by a firearm, they immediately call the police to the location. So it was very obvious that the man that just tried to commit an armed robbery just down the street most likely had a part in the man that is at the local hospital, as the doctors gave the report to the policemen saying a patient showed up to the door, he has no shoes on and he's covered in dirt. And well, the police showed up to the location Lil Tjay was at where the robbery occurred and found a pair of shoes as well as dirt scattered all over the place. Muhammad was arrested for this crime within the hour, as Muhammad is now being charged with attempted armed robbery as well as firearm charges. But just wait, it actually gets a little bit more concerning. Here's where the streets reveal the truth. Now, everything I just mentioned is records from the police as well as evidence reports. Here's where YouTuber Hassan Campbell then comes in. Popular YouTuber within the hip-hop scene, has many connections in the streets, and got a different word of what really happened and how it involves A Bogie. Now follow along. He mentions the police is trying to cover up this entire thing of the hotel property that this occurred on. As mentioned earlier, in the police report, it states that this happened in a Chipotle parking lot. Meanwhile, it actually occurred in a hotel parking lot that has a Chipotle on the inside. Now, Hassan mentions that Lil Tjay was sitting in the parked vehicle outside of a hotel in New York, as Tjay was sitting in the parked vehicle with his cousin Bubba and a third friend that wasn't in the car at the time. Instead, the third friend was actually upstairs in a hotel room using the bathroom at a very convenient time. Now, when the situation broke down, he stayed in that bathroom, which is very interesting. The suspect Muhammad, who initially ran up on Lil Tjay, was also affected by a firearm, as said in the police report. However, it was not from Lil Tjay's crew, as Hassan mentions there was multiple men with firearms trying to catch Lil Tjay lacking. The multiple men running up on Lil Tjay were trying to creep up to his vehicle. Muhammad, being the front man of the group, ended up getting affected by a firearm by one of his own boys that was sitting in the back. Muhammad was then seen falling to the ground, and he was then picked up and dragged through the bushes to their vehicle, that way he could drive away. Now this explains the mulch all over his clothing and why his shoes fell off. It also explains why Tjay's boys, neither of them are being charged with any sort of firearm charges. Now, while this was all going down, Lil Tjay's third friend is still in the bathroom of the hotel. This raises the question of, was Lil Tjay targeted? Was Lil Tjay's friend having ties with Highbridge as well as A Bogie? Now, Hassan is very connected to the streets. Personally, I kind of believe him more than the feds. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. It's been District Trending, and I'm out. Peace.